Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. All right, man. Shout out to the homie Boxing Ego. Saw his video, and basically he was just basically talking about some interview that Bob Aaron conducted with another media outlet. Me myself. I only plug media outlets that I'm okay with and that I respect to a certain degree. But at the end of the day, Bob Aaron basically said something that we already know, something that most of us with common sense knew. But at the end of the day, like I said, I keep it 100 always. Now, all of a sudden, now it appears that people they make everything seem to be about what Bob Arum ain't doing for Terrence Crawford. At the end of the day, it still don't excuse the fact that the fight that we all want to see ain't happening. And like I said, at the end of the day, we trying to get that fight to happen. And basically, it's, we've been getting stalled for the last year and a half. This is a fight that need to happen between Bud and Errol Spence. I'm not going to get into the formality of who you blame and the finger pointing. So if you on this Bob Arum ain't doing this, if you on this nut hugging the other side of the street, then this ain't the channel for you. We're not doing that anymore. I'm not accepting that shit. At the end of the day, we about trying to get this fight made. I already know who's to blame for the fight not happening, and I'm not worried about what other niggas say on their channel. If you want a cape for certain promotional companies, promoters, whatever the case may be, that's you. But at the end of the day, you ain't none of these niggas that's fighting manager and none of that shit. At the end of the day, people clearly show who they align with. Me, myself, I have no alliance to nobody. My alliance is to boxing and getting the best fights made. Because all we got is people trying to play the distraction. Oh, well, this dude is not doing this dude not doing that. At the end of the day, what's up with the fighters speaking out? Everybody talking about they own boss, they make their own decisions, and oh, this guy need to make an offer, that dude need to make an offer. Well, why don't these boxers who swear to God they want certifieds, why don't they make an offer? I'm gonna say this once again. I don't give a damn about people being mad at me or having an issue with me because I don't follow a certain script. I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want to say, and I'm gonna continue to say it. I don't like what's going on in boxing. And like I said before, after this coronavirus shit is over with, boxing, as far as coverage go, it may not be the same ever again. Because they gonna definitely take precautions. When I say shit is finna get thick and tight, and I don't mean no big booty woman neither. I'm saying shit is gonna get ugly out here. All that access that these media people used to get, that cover boxing, I guarantee you they probably gonna put a cease to that. It's gonna be, when I say it's finna be hard to get press credentials now. So if that's how you make your living, basically talking about boxing, you might need to go another direction. And I'm not talking about nobody specifically. I'm just out there, just talking. But once again, Bob Arum talks about something that we already know. Now, he basically said that Manny Pacquiao ducked Terrence Crawford. Well, that's pretty much that's pretty much fact. Freddie Rose said out of his own damn mouth that Manny Pacquiao didn't want that fight. Now, don't come here bringing up some other fighter who he's supposed to duck. We stick it to the subject. You get off the subject, you bring anybody else, I'm blocking your ass. I don't want to hear about Exhibit A fighter ducking Exhibit C fighter or this dude. We not doing the boomerang theory on this channel right now. We stick it to the subject. We talking about Manny Pacquiao versus Terrence Crawford. Once again, you bring up any other fight or somebody posted duck this dude, you bring up that shit, I'm blocking your ass, I'm erasing your comment, and I'm blocking your ass. I ain't even responded. So if you don't do what I asked you to do, you already showing me you want to get blocked. Zero tolerance. But let's go back to 3 years ago. Or almost 3 years ago. Look, Terrence Crawford defeated Jeff Horn like 2 years ago. Manny Pacquiao could have fought him and got his belt back, got the WBO back. Manny Pacquiao refused to fight him. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't want to fight him. But then we already know where this hatred for Bud started, like I keep saying. Because it's funny, you didn't have people ferociously calling out Manny Pacquiao to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. You know, which they should have been doing. I was one of the people that was calling Manny Pacquiao out. Because I ain't no Manny Pacquiao nut hugger. And I ain't no Manny Pacquiao fan. And at the end of the day, people went against the grain, rooting for Manny Pacquiao over Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? But now that he may have left now he may have left the PBC. Now all of a sudden, people back to not fucking with Manny Pacquiao, not liking him. But keep in mind, these are the same dudes that's supposed to be so power to the people. But then at the end of the day, they was sitting up here rooting for Manny Pacquiao. I wasn't. I wanted Keith Thurman to win, even though I had issues with Keith Thurman and some of the shit he was doing. But Manny Pacquiao could have fought Terrence Crawford 2 years ago. He didn't want to fight. And then let's get back to Bob Arum. Bob Arum told me in barbershop conversation that he killed the fight. Which, other words, he was protecting Manny Pacquiao. Just in case Manny Pacquiao decided to possibly make his way back to Top Rank. But Manny Pacquiao obviously wants no part of Bud Crawford. Now, here's my thing. I've looked at Bud Crawford fight several times. I don't think a Bud versus Manny Pacquiao fight gonna be the blowout that a lot of people think it's gonna be. Even though I favor Bud to win that fight, and not only do I favor Bud to win that fight by stoppage, but Manny Pacquiao will have his moments. I wouldn't even be surprised if he drops Bud sometime in that fight. I mean, Mean Machine dropped Bud. Bud got away with being knocked down, and Mean Machine didn't get credit for it. But what did Bud do? He got up and whooped Mean Machine's ass and stopped him. Okay. Manny Pacquiao will have his moments. There's very few fights that Manny Pacquiao got dominated in. The only fight that he got dominated in, which a lot of his remedial fans is in denial about, was the Floyd Mayweather fight. That was one of the very few fights Manny Pacquiao got dominated in. Because whether you like Manny Pacquiao or not, Manny Pacquiao has put up a good fight against everybody. Even when he got, flatlined by Marquez in the fourth fight, it looked like Manny was possibly on his way of stopping Marquez. Now, I will say this much. If you want to get technical, I could add another fight. Because if you look at the first fight with Juan Manuel Marquez, Manny Pacquiao dominated the first round. You know, if they would have had the 3 knockdown rule, Marquez would have lost that fight. But to me, I thought Marquez, after the second round, I thought he won 8 rounds in a row, which is a clear 8-4 victory. I thought Juan Manuel Marquez won that fight. So, at the end of the day, hey, what do I know? But the second fight was competitive, wasn't a domination. Even though I thought Marquez won the second fight, he didn't dominate Manny Pacquiao, but he did enough to me to win that second fight. The third fight, I thought Marquez clearly won that fight 7 rounds. I thought he won 7 rounds to 5. But they gave the fight to Manny Pacquiao. The fourth time, Manny Pacquiao got flatlined. Even though he got dropped, but he broke Marquez's nose. And it looked like he was 1 or 2 more rounds away from stopping Marquez. But Marquez landed the money shot and, basically had Manny Pacquiao looking like The Walking Dead You know what I'm saying? After Michonne got a hold of one of them zombies with her sword. But nevertheless, Manny Pacquiao's never really been dominated. Well, I guess you could say that Eric Morales fight. I thought Eric Morales clearly won that fight. So, but he doesn't really get dominated. Okay? Really doesn't get dominated. So he will have his moments with Terrence Crawford. Even if you look at the Keith Thurman fight, I stand by what I said. When you watch that fight closely without the influence of, basically the people that's calling the fight, that fight was a very competitive fight with Keith Thurman, and I thought Keith Thurman did more than enough to win that fight. Keep in mind, Manny Pacquiao won that fight by a split decision, which means one judge thought Keith Thurman won. Now, you will have the Manny Pacquiao fans say that that fight was a clear-cut victory for Manny Pacquiao, which it wasn't. Like I told you, I don't follow the script of the fans. I don't follow the script of Manny Pacquiao's Filipino fans or even the black ones, because I don't give a fuck what they think. I give my opinion. I thought Keith Thurman won that fight. I stand by that, and I will argue with anybody that Manny Pacquiao won a narrow victory versus Keith Thurman. Okay? I do the town business eye test, not the media eye test or the announcer eye test. My eye test. Okay? So, with that being said, let's just get back to Bob Arum. Bob Arum is known for doing these type of things. Bob Arum is a lawyer, and he's sort of a boxing politician. That's what he does. He plays politics. Like I said, we all know Bob Arum is not a saint when it comes to boxing, because Bob Arum, like I said, I called him out because he basically he did the same thing that was going on with the PBC, where they try to make nothing but in-house fights. But that seemed to be okay with they diehard fans and they diehard supporters. But it still doesn't. People sit up and talk about, well, none of the people that's affiliated with Al Heyman have said anything bad about him. Well, nah, that's not true. That's not true. And it still don't take away from the fact that we ain't got certain fights made. There were certain PBC in-house fights that we couldn't get made. So everything is not perfect. Like I said, I'll call shit right down the middle. I don't give a fuck about nobody being mad at me because they want me to follow somebody's script or they want me to say certain shit. I don't tell you what to say on your fucking channel, so don't tell me what to say on mine. Period. And once again, you got people talking about Bob Arum don't care about Terrence Crawford and Bob Arum ain't looking at that. To a certain degree, that may be true. But at the end of the day, that still don't excuse the fact that there were actual offers for him to cross the street and go on the other side. That's fact. And those dudes didn't want to fight. You can't deny that. You can sit up there and talk about the size shit all you want. You can talk about the distraction, talk all you want about, well, Bob Arum ain't looking out for Terrence Crawford. Well, whatever. Whether you think that's true or not, we know that it's fact that they've been other offers for people to come across the street and make fights. And then you got people once again trying to politic and play promoter and say, well, this amount of money need to get given to this type of dude and all this type of shit. And say, well, Amir Khan got $6 million, and Danny Garcia got offered $3 million. Well, Danny Garcia should ask for more money. But at the end of the day, Danny Garcia really didn't want to fight. And while we sitting up here talking about how much somebody supposed to be making on the other side of the street, at the end of the day, none of these niggas really know what somebody is making. Okay? Let's just keep it 100. We really don't know what these dudes make. You know what I'm saying? They may make a little bit more than what we think they make, or a little bit less, or somewhere in between, but we never know what these dudes make after taxes. So when it comes to the Bob Arum and the Terrence Crawford thing and the Manny Pacquiao thing, yeah, Manny Pacquiao didn't want to fight. We know that. We know Manny Pacquiao ducked Terrence Crawford, but so did a lot of other people. Or we sit up here and holler about this dude need to get this type of money, that dude need to get that type of money. Nevertheless, these dudes ducked them. Because at the end of the day, neither or all these fighters really ain't about legacy. At the end of the day, it do come down to the almighty dollar. But let's not make it look like Danny Garcia, and these other dudes is getting the type of money that some of these YouTubers are saying they getting. Okay, that's just real talk. You know, like I said, I'm keeping it 100 because Danny Garcia, people can holler about, well, Amir Khan got $6 million to fight, but well, Danny could have got 5 or 6. But at the end of the day, he chose to take $1 million to fight Adrian Granados. And last time I checked, $1 million was less than $3 million. Unless I can't count, unless I'm stupid, but nobody never seems to want to talk about that. At the end of the day, I'm not about sitting up here caping for promotional companies, managers, none of these people. That ain't my thing. I'm about getting these fights made. I'm about getting through the hurdles. Like I said, say what you want to say about Deontay Wilder, but he crossed the other side of the street. He gave us the fight that most of us wanted to see. And he was a prime example. At the end of the day, he willing to fight the best dudes out there. He didn't let politics get in the way, but at the end of the day, you got people, a lot of these white supremacists and piece of shits making fun of him, but at least he went and made the fight happen. He wasn't hollering about, well, this fight got to be a PBC exclusive and all that type of shit. They got through the hurdles, the fight got made. That's all I got to say. It's your boy Town Biz, I'm out.